Hello, my name is Jemmy, and today I am going to be giving you a kind of long lesson on, well, it depends on how long this video is, on functions. I know I already touched on functions before, but I'm going to get in more detail in functions in this video. So first off, I want to start inside a Google Docs of functions. Uh, um, Ignore my sister back there. So yeah, basically, I wrote a document on functions, and I will explain it to you. I also explain to you some code on what functions do in like real use. So first, why do we use functions? Well, functions are used to shorten our code because we can like tell a function what it's supposed to do. Like pretend you create a function that prints out hello world, and then it prints out some other text like print out hello world, then do an equation maybe. Instead of having to write like three three code, you only need to call the function, and then you can just keep on using the function as long as you don't delete the function. So it's pretty easy to use, and it's basically shortens your code and shortens your time. So it's like if you know what a macro is on not like the store, but like on your gaming mouse, if you have one, where if you click one button, it's going to execute multiple commands. Well, that's what a function is basically. One code will execute um basically one to infinite code. So it's going to shorten your time a lot, and it will help you with your code to stay more organized. Now, parameters in functions. So first, I want to say that parameters you don't know what it is, but I'll just tell you. So if you were to look down here in my example code right here, a parameter is the variable inside of the function. Okay, so it will basically can be used for a lot of other stuff, and you can set what it's supposed to be. It could either be a text, a string, whatever you want. A text, a string, or an integer, or a float, boolean. Just you can set it uh inside of the function. So yeah, right here is the parameter itself inside the parentheses of the function. Right now I have four parameters in my function: name, type, attack, and ID of Pokemon. By the way, this is a lesson of Pythomon Go on Python, and I already have one video on functions on Python in Pythomon Go, but this is more in detail. Okay, now for our third thing is arguments. Arguments are basically used to set um, the parameters. So like it will you have to type in the name of the function, and then you type in uh, the value, like that. And your argument needs to be the same value, meaning the same amount as your parameter. So if you have four parameters, then you need four arguments. And as you can see, here it is. Name is Pikachu, type is electric, attack is discharge, and ID is 25. So yeah, that is parameters. As you can see, this one is a string, and this one is an integer. So you can set your parameters however you like. Now, a thing about parameters is that they're local variables. Local variables means that it can only be used inside of the function itself. You cannot use it wherever else. Instead, if you were to do that, then you would have to do like a equals to 32, and it needs to be outside the function. And however, if you set the parameter, it's going to be a local variable. Okay, now let's see an example of a local variable. So you have a function called define Pokemon info, right? Define Pokemon info, and then the name is Pikachu, the ID is 25. So then this is the end of the function, right? This is the function itself, and it's done. Now you go outside of the function and write MSG, which is for message, equal to I am. So MSG is a string. Then you print out MSG I am, which and the name of the Pokemon Pikachu, comma, and my ID is comma ID. Well, in here the problem would be name, and then instead of age, honest, I it will be name and then comma, and then ID. So name ID is not identified or defined, and this is because this is a local variable and you can't use it. On the other hand, if you were to do something like this, delete this function and put this outside, then it would be able to be used. Okay, so that is an example of a local variable being uh, used, but it doesn't work. Okay, so now let's move on to number five, simple functions. So as I was saying with my talk of parameters and arguments, you don't actually need that in a function. A function can perform normally without having to need a parameter. Instead, you can just leave the parentheses empty and it'll work just fine, like this. Pass. So pass is number six, and if you have like a function that pretend you're okay, this is a scenario that might happen. It's a really real life scenario. So pretend you're working on something and it's very late at night, and then you have a function that you were planning to put in your code, but then you didn't have time and you wanted to go to bed. So then you decided to put the function in where it's supposed to go first, or else you would forget, right? So you put in the function, but then inside your code where it's supposed to be, but then you don't have enough energy to write the code for the function. So you put in, so if you were to leave the function empty, it would come up an error. So what you did, or what you could do, is type in pass inside the function, and it will basically not get an error. Instead, it will just be like the function is nothing, but it's just a placeholder for you so you can get back and edit your function. Okay, for number seven is return. Return is one of the main keys of functions. Return is when you can use what the function is giving you or the parameters. So return is really important when you are using the parameters. In order to do any equation or combining, you would have to use return, and I will show you that in the code that I'm about to show you how to use return. Okay, so let's hop into the code. I've been using Visual Studios today. You can use any editor, I think, except for Sublime. I was planning to use Sublime Text 3 editor on this, but then on one code, it just didn't work. I think on inputs, Sublime just didn't cooperate for inputs. So I didn't try it out yet, but I'm pretty sure you can use any editor except for Sublime Text. So let's get right into it. So first, let's go into a very simple function. So I'm just going to show you what a function does. So in here, I'm gonna make sure I commented everything. Okay, perfect. So in here, let's see. This one is pretty simple. It's a function called say hello, and it prints out whenever you call it, it'll print out hello new trainer. It's very nice to see you. So in order to call a function, you need the function name and parentheses, a pair of parentheses behind it, and then that calls the function. Let's try it out. Oh, I was gonna click Control B, but then I realized this is not Sublime. Okay, I click Run, and then as you can see, it might be a little messy because Visual Studio is kind of like that. But as you can see, it says hello new trainer. It's very nice to see you, and that is how you call a function. Okay, if you were to change the name of this function into say and then hello without the underscore, and then you didn't change the bottom one, then what would happen is going to come up an error, as name say hello is not defined. But if you were to close this off too, and then now you were to run it, then there you go. Hello new trainer, it's very nice to see you. I'm going to clear my terminal really quick so it doesn't get too messy. Okay, that is a function in use. It's very simple, and that one was very easy to understand. Let's move on to a more complicated but not too complicated function. This function is going to be combined with the use of if else. If you don't know what if else is, I have a video on that too. Basically it will show you if this happens then do this, else do this, or elif, which is else if. and a if goes in between of if and else. So right now it might seem very complicated, but if you go watch my tutorial on if else, then it will seem less complicated to you and it will be much easier. So this function is called CalPower, which is calculate power. And power equals to input, type your Pokemon power here. Now you might be a little complicated it might be a little complicated here, but what it's doing is that it's going to receive an input from you. Basically, you're going to get to type in a certain amount, but however, the amount that you type in will be considered a string. And we cannot use a string to do an equation or a comparison with or an expression with. So we need to turn it into an integer or a float. And in this case, I'm going to turn it into an integer. So what you do is put int and parentheses over input, and that will turn the input that you receive into an integer. So that is how to convert a string into an integer. It's pretty simple once you know how to do it. Now here is the if that we were talking about. If power is less than 50, print your Pokemon is weak. Okay? So we're going to set this as true. This is actually not setting it, but we're going to put an input as true so that it will show you this. Okay, so now let's try running it. Oh yeah, and here's just how to call your function again. So an overview of this would be the power. It will set the power into whatever your input is, and if your input is less than 50, then it'll print out your Pokemon is weak. If it's higher than 50, then it will do nothing. Okay, let's try it out. Okay, here. Let's type in 25. And I mean 25. And 25, as you all know, is less than 50. So if we were to press enter, it will come up your Pokemon is weak. Now let's try it with a greater amount, like 60. 60 is greater and it will do nothing. I predict. As you can see, it did nothing. It just press enter and you're done. So yeah, that is a simple function with if and else. Well, only if, I could say. Okay, let's move on to the next one. This one I will show you right now. Click Control N if you want to try it out, or you don't have to, and then say Control S and save it anywhere as a .py. And now you can follow what I'm doing. So once you saved it as .py, you can come back to, or I'll just show you how to do it. So what we want to do is we want to first we want to import functions. Okay. The point of this is just to show you that you can actually use a function even though you're not in the same file or tab. And then now what we want to do is we want to do functions, okay, or capitalized functions, dot, and then the name of our function, which was cal_power. And then I'm pretty sure this will work. If it doesn't, then I'll go back and look what happened. And there we go, it works. So here is type your Pokemon's power here, which is what we did last time. So we can type in 23 and it will come up. Oh, there's functions has no attribute CalPower. Let's see what got wrong. No, never mind. It has it right here, but for some reason it I don't know what happened there. It just decided not to go. Well, anyways, maybe we need to change it to lowercase. In any case, it works actually. As you can see in here, it goes. Where's the your? Okay, let me clear this and run this one more time. So then type your Pokemon here, 34. Okay, now we scroll back up. And where is it? Okay, one click, it's just the whole thing. Okay, here. Okay, I slowly scrolled down, and here it is. Type in your Pokemon's power here, and then I typed in 34, and then it said your Pokemon is weak, and that is what we could do if we decided to just go into another tab or file and then work in there. You can import functions, and then you can call the functions from another file. So yeah, that is what I was trying to say. And now let's move on to the next one. This one I am going to show you files with parameters. So the parameters I was talking about earlier, I'm going to show you in code right now. So here we have a function that is called result, and we have two parameters, days and coin. So this function I'm using to calculate how much coins you would get. So in Pokemon Go, if you did not know, that rhymes. That I didn't mean for that to rhyme. In Pokemon Go, if you did not know, that's a really good rhyme. So if you defeat a gym and then you conquer it, you can put your Pokemon into the gym, and I am going to assume that each day you will get 25 coins as long as your Pokemon still stays in the gym. So I pretended that I put my Pokemon in a gym for 5 days, then it got knocked out. So then I have 25 coins times 5 days, and it would equal to, well, how much? So I made this function just for that purpose. So result has two parameters, days and coin, um, and it'll print out you got more coins when your Pokemon gets out, right? So then it'll return. Here's the main hero of the function, return. So return will have days times coin. This is, I told you earlier, this is how to make an equation for your functions or your parameters using return. So return days times coins, and then we're going to print out the result as days equal to 5 and coins equal to 25. And then return will make 5 times 25. Okay, let's see. Let's clear out the terminal first, and let's run it again. Here we are. You got more coins, and we got 125 coins in total. If we were to change this a little, so let's say we got 6, and we were to run this, it would say you got 150 coins. So as you can see, it's pretty simple. You just have to use return for the equation, and then you print out the result. Then you set the parameters value using arguments, and then you got yourself a function. So in simple words, this function sets the argument sets the parameters, and then return makes the parameters times each other, and then it'll print out the result. Simple. Okay, let's move on to our last piece of code. This one I combined everything into it, and I just put everything we learned in this lesson into this code, and I think it's actually a pretty useful code, well, for games, I guess. So first what we want to do is we want to import random, because this is going to be a lucky wheel. Like, have you ever saw, like, at the first day, or like in the movie, or not in the movie but in the anime of Pokemon, Ash, the main character, comes late to the doctor's house, and then doesn't get like the Pokemon, so he got the last one. But imagine instead of there being one Pokemon left, there's one Pokemon left, but then you would have to spin a wheel, and if it lands lower than 10, then you won't get the Pokemon, but if it lands higher than 10, you would get the Pokemon as a punishment for being late. So that's what I did right here. So we're going to create a function called Pokemon info, or we can say Pokemon get whatever, but I just decided to go for info. And then we're going to have a luck base, so luck equals to random.randint 9 to 20. And this, you might be asking, why does it start from 9? Oh, well, sorry. Okay, luck we're going to turn into 15, because we're starting at 10. If we were starting at 0, then we would be able to do 10, but I did 15 because we're starting at 10, and 15 is between 10 and 20. So, as again, why are we starting at 9? Well, we're starting at 9 because when the program sets the starting point for a random, they always go one above, which means that this will be actually 10 to 20 instead of 9 to 20. So yeah, that's it. That's what it is. And then once it randoms, it'll print out what we got. So it'll print out luck. And then we're going to go into our if else right here. If luck is greater or equal to 15, then input name. Input, you got a Pokemon. Type your Pokemon's name here. And then this is an input, so the user can type their Pokemon's name. And then once they type their Pokemon name, we will print out your Pokemon's name is, and then their input name. However, if you were unlucky and you didn't get a Pokemon, then it will print out your luck was too low and you don't get a Pokemon. And that's the function. And the last piece of code is just to call the function. So let's run it and see if our luck is good or bad. Okay? Oh, wow, I got 20, which is the max you can get. So I'll type my Pokemon's name. I'm going to name it, uh, uh, b- b- I don't know what to name it. Okay, coding monster. I don't know. Okay, so like this, and it'll print out your Pokemon's name is coding monster or something, and then you can use this code and just play around with it a lot. You can change some stuff so that the luck, like depending on how much time you run, this might be a little too hard, but how much times you run, or you can set the luck as an input or whatever. Actually, I will do that right now. I will have some fun with this code. I'm going to set so that the user can set the luck. Actually, that might be too hard. You know what? Screw it. I'm doing it. Even though it's failing or might fail, I'm still doing it. Okay, so the user can set how high the luck needs to be in order to get a Pokemon. So I am going to do what I call a Jemmy dares it and tries to do something. So input, and what do we want? Input, how what we say, standard, okay? Because we want our luck to be at a certain point in order to get a Pokemon. So input standard equals to how much? Equals to int, to make it an integer, and then input, and then now we type out what we want them to look at. Set your luck. Set your luck on a scale of 1 to 20. No, 10 to 20. There we go, and then let them set it, and then we will use it in here. So input standard, and like so. Okay, let's see what we got here. Let's run this. Okay, set your luck scale. Oh, but no, they see it. So we're going to have to comment printing our luck. Okay, let's do this. Oh, what happened? Let me clear this. Oh, here it is. Set your luck on a scale of 10 to 20. I will set it because right now I don't know what my luck is. So if I set it very low to like to 10, then I'm 100% getting it. But if I were, oh, this would even be better. You have to guess exactly on the luck. Okay, so you would have to guess what the luck is. Oh, that is so cool. Okay, I want to do that. Okay, oh. Here, so if you're going to set something equal to something, then you need two equal signs, okay? Not only one. Okay. Okay, now let's type. Now I don't know what my luck is, but you would have this is so that you need to type out the luck. Oh, 17, please. Oh, dang it. We didn't guess it, so we didn't get it. Okay, so as you can see, I just changed it from a boring code that was just the machine guessing your luck into now you would have to guess what your luck is. So as you can see, functions is a great way for you to expand your coding knowledge and just have fun with it all around. And yeah, you can experiment with it and do whatever you want. Let me try guessing this last one. 17 again. Dang it. Okay, so you can have fun and just try something out. You can make it print out the luck at the end so you would know how much it was and how far you were off by. And yeah, just have fun with it and see you in the next episode. Bye for now. Bye.